Well, I've gotten started today on my little tool shed addition to the bandsaw mill. Now what I want to talk about real quick is the method I'm going to use for this 12-foot addition. Now if you follow my channel, you know for the mill I dug footers, block, yada yada yada. For me, that's probably the best method. You don't have to worry about rot. You've got a stable base, solid foundation. There's no contact with the ground in your timber. It's probably the safest method of building there is as far as something like this. But I've read up on the internet about using regular woods other than cedar or treated. People will burn them, char them, paint them with diesel and oil or other preservatives and put them in the ground. I've read a lot of forums on the internet that talk about it being a good idea and a bad idea. Some people say it'll last a lifetime, some say it'll rot. Eventually, yeah, everything's going to rot, but the way I look at things, the best way to find out is to do it. Try it, see if it works. So that's the method I'm going to use here. I'm going to come right here. I've already got my holes dug, and all I did was I pulled a string down my poles to keep this perfectly in line with the structure and come out 12 feet. And I dug the hole a little bit bigger than I needed. And I've done the same thing over here. It was a doozy here because I had that stump in the way. I had to dig down beside it. And what I'm going to do, I've already cut two 6x6s of yellow pine. I'm going to build a little fire, set them up on it, and do a really heavy char. And then I've got some used motor oil and some diesel I'm going to mix up and paint them with, the part that goes in the ground. I'm going to probably come above the ground at least a foot. But worst case scenario, friends, let's say this lasts 10 years down the road and I see it starting to rot at the ground or whatever. It's not the end of the world. I'll come out here, I'll put some block up under the shed, I'll jack it up a little, I'll cut that post off, I'll pull it out of the ground, I'll pour a footer and lay block back up. Whew, I'm about out of breath. Well, a post hole digger will work you. Too, I was going to add another reason that I haven't ran true power out here to the mill shed is because I was mulling over the idea of putting a sub panel over here on the wall somewhere and kind of maybe sheathing one wall to protect it from rain. But I had this idea in mind for the tool shed, so that's a better place to put your sub panel, is inside the building here. And all right, friends, I got me a little slab fire going here. Got my water hose stretched out over there. If you're going to build a fire, at least have your hose ready in case things go south on you. But I think this is a better way of doing it, other than burning up all your propane with that. I got one of those little torches right here with a little end on it. But I think you get a deeper char if you just get you a little fire going and set the poles right over it. Just let the fire do the work, save your propane. I'm gonna get my poles out here and prop them up on that right over the fire with a little bit that I want to get charred. Probably about a good, I'm gonna put them about 3 foot in the ground, so I'm gonna char it up about 3.5 foot maybe. Well, while my poles are cooking, figure I'd catch you up on my little tiny garden. I finally had to get out here and put some more advanced trellising up. I took some of my sawmill lumber and made some A-frames and some 1x6s and some fencing wire, and got those tomato plants tied up. I've already got one gathering off of these, and I should get a pretty good harvest of tomatoes this year. I got peppers there too on the end. They've been doing pretty well. Got some jalapenos and some others, and gonna be doing some canning here pretty soon. I need to be canning tonight what I've gotten off so far, but I'm no professional gardener. I'm just out here. This is probably the 1 year since I've lived here that I've had really been able to grow anything. I just didn't have the knowledge. Even though I grew up with a father who always had a big garden, I was too young to really pay attention to the things he was doing to make it prosper. So I finally got some good dirt and some raised beds there, and I probably spent a good 2 hours out here doing this whole trellis deal and putting the wire up and everything. So got that out of the way, cleaned my gutters. I've done that this morning. Look forward to some good old tomatoes. I love canned tomatoes. I done moved one pole out of the way. It's got a really good deep char going on. Hope it didn't go a little too far, but I think that's good. Letting this one here finish up. Getting ready to pull it off the fire. About a good 4 foot. Then we'll back up here and let them cool off. I'm not going to spray them with water. I'm just going to let them go out on their own. I don't want to put any moisture in that wood. I want it to be as dry as it can so it soaks up the diesel and oil. Of course, I've misplaced my wire brush, so I'll just scrape it and hit it with my floor broom, and that should be good enough. Oh yeah, that's looking real good. Now what I got here is a 50-50 mix. I'm not sure what, I guess people probably use different mixtures, but I saved the oil from my latest oil change from the sawmill. A quart of used oil and about a quart of diesel. So I just mixed that up pretty good here. I'm going to brush it on. Let it soak in good, and I'll probably put 3 or 4 coats of this on there, maybe come back tomorrow and do a few more. Right away, that is just soaking right up like a sponge. It's already starting to get dry in places. It's just soaking it right up. But yeah, time will tell if this is a good method or not. I'm here in the red clay of the eastern United States, so I don't know how the soil is in your area. But we're going to give it a go here. But yeah, I put almost 2 quarts of this mixture on here. I've got a little bit left in my cup. That's what's left of that whole mixture I made. I'm going to finish it on here. I put 2 coats so far, and it's drying pretty quickly. You can see some places on the log, the pole has already started to dry, leaving it with a second coat applied. Well, friends, that's about going to wrap this video up. Time will tell if this method is useful or not, if it holds up. I think I mentioned earlier, I don't claim to know exactly what I'm doing. There may be people watching this saying, "Oh God, you did everything wrong." But I did use good dry post. I did get a really deep burn on them. And I did not spare the diesel and oil mixture to them. I've used 2 quarts so far, and it took every bit of it. So tomorrow I'll come out, check them. If they're good and dry to the touch, I may put another coat on. But we will see how this method holds up for years to come. And you know what I said earlier, if it doesn't, I've got a plan B. It won't be no trouble this out. But anyway, I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate anybody who subscribed to my channel so far. I am up to, I think, 530 some subscribers. So the channel's growing pretty good. I'm glad for that. I haven't been as dedicated as I was when I first started, but I'm getting back into it. I'm trying, my friends. So if you're part of the community of my channel, if you're a subscriber, I thank you very much. And as always, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.